That I haven't seen yet. Oh, you're so woke, at least you think you are. You're microdosing acid in your new electric car. You're microdosing acid, you're just picking at the star. You should probably tell the stranger everything you have to say. Appropriate some culture, learn to shut your mouth. You're playing with these Yankees, but you're from the dirty South. You're playing with these Yankees, but you're from the dirty South. Oh, 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 now trigger. Oh, 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 down good boy. Oh, 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 now trigger. You are not a child, this man is not a toy. You are not a child and this man is not a toy. That I haven't seen yet. Oh, you're so woke, at least you think you are. You're microdosing acid in your new electric car. You're microdosing acid, you're just picking at the star. You should probably tell the stranger everything you have to say. Appropriate some culture, learn to shut your mouth. You're playing with these Yankees, but you're from the dirty South. You're playing with these Yankees, but you're from the dirty South. Oh, 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 now trigger. Oh, 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 down good boy. Oh, 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 now trigger. You are not a child, this man is not a toy. You are not a child and this man is not a toy. this man is not a toy. Oh. That I haven't seen yet. Oh, you're so woke, at least you think you are. You're microdosing acid in your new electric car. You're microdosing acid, you're just picking at the star. You should probably tell the stranger everything you have to say. Appropriate some culture, learn to shut your mouth. You're playing with these Yankees, but you're from the dirty South. You're playing with these Yankees, but you're from the dirty South. Oh, 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 now trigger. Oh, 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 down good boy. Oh, 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 now trigger. You are not a child, this man is not a toy. You are not a child and this man is not a toy. That I haven't seen yet. Oh, you're so woke, at least you think you are. You're microdosing acid in your new electric car. You're microdosing acid, you're appropriate some culture, learn to shut your mouth. You're playing with these Yankees, but you're from the dirty South. You're playing with these Yankees, but you're from the dirty South. Oh, 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 now trigger. Oh, 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 down good boy. Oh, 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 now trigger. You are not a child, this man is not a toy. You are not a child and this man is not a toy.
Pancha after this bit. Look at that, there's a bit of pancetta right there. Oh yeah.
But guys, follow us on all the social media: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Francis J. Foster, Konstantin Kisin, Trigger Pod. Follow us all.
Anton, kill it already.
Come on, follow us, follow us, follow us.
Hello and welcome to the final Raw show for a whole week. A reminder that we're taking the rest of the week off and some of next week off. There will be no Raw, but there will be interviews. But welcome one, welcome all. Have we got a special show for you tonight, Francis?
We've got such a special show. There's so much to talk about. I think the most important thing to talk about is... You turn your mic on,
that would be quite an important thing to talk about.
It would be, wouldn't it? There you go.
Good start.
Yeah, good start.
This is why we need a break, guys, because his brain stopped working in 1947.
Yeah, exactly.
When he wasn't even born. I don't know why I said that day, because I also need a break.
Yeah, we need a break. So we're tired, but there's plenty to talk about.
Yeah.
In particular, the fact... What?
Hold on.
First
of all, the last Raw we did, some of you were rightly concerned that it was a bit black-pilled, it was a bit negative.
Yeah.
So today it's only going to be good news, isn't it, Francis?
It's only going to be super positive news. We're going to have a super positive stream. Isn't that right, Tony?
Tony has been replaced. Rather, he's the replacement for Anton. He's exactly the same in every way. He'll forget to turn Francis' mic on. And we will carry on with the show. But Francis, it's going to be pure good news today. We're just going to be talking about all that good stuff that has been happening in the world. Most importantly, we're going to start by talking about the man, the legend, the finally did not kill himself.
Absolutely, he didn't kill himself. There was no problem at all. He was just, in fact, he actually said many times on his Twitter
that he wouldn't kill himself.
That he wouldn't kill himself.
So he couldn't have killed himself.
So he didn't kill himself.
Yeah, he got a little tattoo on the shoulder saying, "If I die, it's because they killed me. It's not suicide." And then he went, and then he just killed himself anyway.
Yeah, and then, well, you actually made a point. What did he say that he was going to do before he killed himself?
Oh, he's just going to reveal a bit of corruption in government and, intelligence agencies and stuff like that. But apart from that, he was, he probably had he was a millionaire, right? So, why wouldn't he kill himself?
Exactly. Yeah.
Good lad.
So there we go. So he definitely didn't kill himself.
Definitely
didn't kill himself.
That's the good news.
That's the good news.
Yeah,
That's the positive.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure it's a massive comfort to all those people, weed smokers and conspiracy theorists amongst you, which, let's be fair, is probably now the entire population.
Exactly. So here's the story. McAfee, Russian roulette, poisoned dogs, and life on the run from a hit squad.
McAfee took his own life in a Barcelona jail cell on Wednesday.
He definitely did that. So if you read this and you, for some reason, thought like a bigot that he probably didn't kill himself, well, this newspaper, I think it's the Telegraph, is telling you.
It's the Times.
It's the Times. Oh, well, come on. It's the Telegraph. Don't correct me. It's the Telegraph, right? They're telling you the truth, and it must be the truth. So he definitely didn't kill himself.
Absolutely. Didn't kill himself. Don't even think that for a moment.
Exactly.
The voice on the end of the line was somewhere in the Belize jungle and sounded more than a little paranoid. I cannot talk on this phone for long, John McAfee told the Telegraph while on the run after his next-door neighbour was found dead with a bullet in his head. McAfee said he was being tracked by a paramilitary hit squad and he was in disguise staying on the move. He said it would be foolish to say more. They nationalised a phone company so they can trace calls and triangulate, he said. My plan is a day-to-day plan, simply to avoid detection.
While maintaining his innocence, he vowed to never turn himself in, adding, I think I will be summarily executed. They can make up some excuse for removing me. This is the way it is in this country. I would describe myself as quite sane and lucid, which is why I'm still alive. The world chooses to think what the world chooses to think.
In passing, he denied suggestions he'd been running a meth lab. I mean, okay. There was no meth lab. What on earth would I be doing running a meth lab, he said. It was November 2012, and McAfee had been declared a person of interest in the killing of his neighbour, Gregory Viant Fowl, a retired American builder from Florida. The two men lived 300 yards from each other on Ambergris Cay, an island off Belize.
Fowl was discovered by his housekeeper lying face up in a pool of blood inside his house. A single Luger 9mm shell was found nearby. There was no sign of a break-in, but a laptop, computer, and phone were missing. Fowl had previously made a complaint to local authorities about McAfee's dogs, claiming they shoot people with 9mm guns and they're vicious and attack people. 4 of the dogs, named Mellow, Lucky, Dipsy, and Guerrero,
sound like some of the ladies you date, Tony,
had been found poisoned the day before Fowl was shot dead. However, McAfee told the Telegraph he did not blame Fowl for the demise of his dogs. Instead, he accused the Belize authorities of killing them.
Lovely. Scroll down. McAfee said he did not like my dogs. All neighbours can be minor annoyances from time to time, but without them, the world would be empty. I know he didn't kill my dogs. So he's going to keep scrolling. On the night of Fowl's death, he had been at home. McAfee said, adding, I heard nothing, I knew nothing until the following day.
About a month later, McAfee was arrested in Guatemala for crossing the border illegally. He was deported to the US and was never charged or questioned over the incident in Belize.
There you go.
There he is. Okay, good. It was just one episode in an extraordinary life that brought him vast wealth and infamy. He once claimed to have fathered 47 children.
Legend. That is you see, that's how you know this is a man of honor and integrity. 47 kids, top shagger.
Yeah, didn't stay in touch with any of them. He could have been Prime Minister of this country, to be honest.
Yeah.
He would have made a better one than
No, he actually built something and was successful, mate.
Okay, fair enough. That would never happen then. Yeah. McAfee was born on a US military base in Gloucestershire in 1945 to a British mother and an American father, and moved to Virginia in the US as a child.
He later described how his alcoholic father would beat him mercilessly. Right, it's getting a bit dark now. When McAfee was 15, his father used it again. I thought we weren't meant to be getting black pills.
Look, this is all good news. He didn't kill himself, but his father did.
Yeah, exactly.
With his shotgun.
McAfee went on to graduate uni in maths and worked for NASA and various private companies. When the first major computer virus called Brain hit in 1986, he started looking at how to combat it, creating the first all-in-one virus scanner.
In 1994, he left his McAfee company, and in 2011, Intel bought it for nearly $8 billion. The antivirus software that bears his name still has 500 million users around the world.
And that's the name of a well-known virus, Donald Trump Jr. Come on, that was funny. McAfee had been described by peers as a true pioneer in computer security. His personal wealth was estimated at around $100 million in 2007, including properties in New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, and Hawaii. But he said he lost most of it in the financial crash. Soon after the crash, he moved to Belize, where he described setting up a harem and...
You're getting jealous now,
Mate!
Someone sent Francis $100 million super chat. This is what he would do.
This is exactly what I would do.
Plus, I bet the ladies in Belize are of your persuasion.
Absolutely. Poon, you're fired. The moment that $100 million super chat comes in, I'm off. Also, we accept Bitcoin. Send me 100 million in Bitcoin. Actually, knowing my luck, but it'll probably crash, and tomorrow it'll be worth about £6.38.
Mate, if we get sent 100 million pounds in Bitcoin, you ain't going to see a penny of it. Let's be honest. Me and Anton are going to be off to Costa Rica.
Tony would never do that to me.
I think if you keep calling him by a name that's not his name, he's going to warm up to the idea, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, and he became an increasingly vocal critic of the government, which he accused of victimizing him.
Yeah.
There he is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Getting stuck in, top lad. Look at him. She's about 32. He's about 93.
Yeah.
Good man.
Dean Barrow, the Prime Minister at the time, said of McAfee, "I don't want to be unkind to the gentleman, but I believe he's extremely paranoid, even bonkers." While on the run after the death of his neighbor, McAfee reportedly played Russian roulette.
So let's see. He's got stuff in common with you, likes your games.
Anton, I think we need to hide the article. Hello, I bring you message from the People's Commissar's Republic of Communism. This man is a legend. He was not paranoid. The government was after him. Thank you.
There you go.
There we go.
So anyway,
Top lad.
We could continue just reading about his life.
It's an interesting story.
Mate, that is the man I want to be.
Look, I think the main thing is the audience of Trigonometry take away from this the fact that the man did not kill himself.
No, he didn't kill himself.
He definitely didn't.
Listen, he made millions, sold his company for billions, right? Okay. He was a top shagger, had a harem, and approximately 47 kids.
And then didn't kill himself.
Very
definitely did not kill himself.
In the words of Charlie Sheen, winning.
Yeah. Anyway, you got Epstein, as someone says in the chat. Absolutely correct.
And that's a bit harsh, mate. He wasn't a pedo. Come on. He was a legend.
Well, we don't know whether Epstein was a pedo, do we?
I mean,
should we go into? We should do a GB News style redefinition of the word pedophile.
Oh, what, with Lady Colin Campbell?
Yeah, we should just explain why he wasn't really one of them.
That lady who looked like she came from Tales of the Crypt and spoke with a Jamaican accent.
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And then he was not a paedophile. He was, and then she was just going through all the different types of files.
And I was just thinking, you know what? In some ways, this is great TV.
It's
very watchable.
And Dan Walton was there blowing out of his arse, and wondering what the hell he was going to do. And the sound kept cutting out, so all you heard is paedophile, menophile, or whatever else.
Yeah.
So
anyway, we have some PayPals are flowing in. In fact, Nadia has sent us 25 quid, and she says, "Hello, lads. Correction. The province of Ontario lifted stay-at-home orders on June the 11th with a 3-step plan to reopen based on jab stats. Other provinces in Canada are similar. Next lockdown schedule for the fall brought to you by," she says, Agenda 21. Well, I couldn't possibly comment. I have no idea what Agenda 21 is.
Yeah, but we know all the other agendas, not 1 to 20.
Yeah. Anyway, equally wonderful Paul Oggy. Let's get some. What can we get some in the chat for Paul Oggy?
Oh, right, Oggy.
Let's get some cats in the chat. He's got a lovely cat.
He does have a lovely cat.
Yeah, let's get some cats in the chat for Mr. Og.
Yeah.
Send us $100. And here's what he says, Francis.
He says, hopefully you all come back refreshed and recharged after the time off. KK, just remember when you secretly go to fight against the forces of your Uncle Vlad, that escape from Tarkov isn't actually considered training.
This is true. I will sadly not be fighting against the forces of my Uncle Vlad. I will instead be enjoying a week with my family in a country house in rural...
No one has ever enjoyed a week with their family.
I do.
No, you don't.
I have good family.
Nobody ever
My
does.
family love me and I love them. And
Exactly.
everybody's happy. And there's lots of cats in the chat. So Paul Og, thank you very much for that. Let's find out what else people are saying. Who else is saying? Well, Ali Snyder sent us £6, 86. And she says, hi, Raw Men and Bleeder. Question to add to the pile for your upcoming conversation with Brett King-Size Cojones Weinstein. Please ask him if those of us who took the jab should still consider taking either, who shall not be named, prophylactically, since the vaccines don't appear to keep you from contracting or passing along COVID. Well, they reduce your likelihood of doing so.
Yeah.
Is it still worth it for us? Also, since you won't be around to heckle live on Saturday, hashtag Bleeders got to talk about bleeding, she says. Well, Ali, Brett, and I'm really delighted for him. He was on Joe Rogan yesterday. Yesterday, was it, Anton?
Yeah, it was yesterday. It was on Roganio.
And that is when we were supposed to record the interview with him. So we've had to postpone it. Now we're going away for a week. So when we come back, we'll just have to see what the lie of the land is. And we'll see what the conversations are like at that moment in time around it. And we've actually got a little story to show you in a second. But let's catch up on the super chat, Anton.
Lovely. Louisa with a 20 nicker. Get some tax back and thought I'd share. Thanks, Louisa. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Louisa. Appreciate it.
Lovely. McAfee didn't uninstall himself.
Very good, Cheddars. Anton
That
loved
is very
it.
good.
Anton loved that.
Yep. Gillian Colucci. People need good...
excuse me. Gillian Colucci.
Colucci.
Oh,
She's a super chat.
hey.
She's a Trigger Casual member, I believe. People need good lies. There are too many bad ones. Safe travels, KK.
Who's KV, I wonder?
Don't know.
Nor do I. But thanks, Gillian. Appreciate the $5. And thank you for the wishes.
Eric Juncker. I didn't realise Jewish birds and brown birds were one and the same. I watched the Barry Weiss interview and Francis was nothing but smiles. Great interview, by the way.
He just enjoyed being on screen with another lesbian.
Exactly. To power lesbian like me. But Barry was superb. Yeah. What an interview.
I love that interview. Barry is one of those people that has a bunch of retards follow her around on the internet and complain about her whenever she does any interview. But if anyone actually listened to the interview itself, they could not be anything other than persuaded by her argument, I think. And I thought it was a great interview.
A friend of mine, who shall remain nameless because he's trying to build a career for himself, used to be a journalist, had interviews at the New York Times, Washington Post, and came to work at the Independent before looking around.
Do you want to give any more of his personal details online so people can fucking triangulate?
And his bank account details are. But no, he said he spent about 6 months at the Independent, looked around and went, this is dreadful, and got the hell out of journalism. Anyway, he listened to it, hated it, thought, no, he didn't. He thought it was brilliant.
Of course he was. Of course he did. Jay Savage with a $4.99 says, McAfee definitely didn't have sexual relations with that virus.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Lovely stuff.
Anton, let's power through a few more.
McAfee's nowadays still right.
We're actually talking about a man who just died, so
absolutely.
But keep the banter flowing.
You've just got to keep the banter flowing, mate. Yeah. That's what the people want. Alexander, I hope you boys enjoy your upcoming vacation from war. Much love from across the pond. Alex, you're a gentleman. Thank you very much.
So we will be gone for exactly a week, I believe. So our next Raw
will be next Tuesday. Not this Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
That's correct. Yeah. So just slightly more than a week. But we've got some brilliant interviews in the pipeline.
Mama.
The interviews will carry on going out as normal. And Francis, I think we should have a little chat.
About what?
About the interview we did only a few hours ago.
Mate, I don't know what to make of that.
Is your ass still there, or did it fall all the way out?
No, I had a prolapse, mate. That's what happened. I had a full-blown prolapse.
You know what? It's fair enough that you said that, because I did ask you the question.
Yeah, well, you started it and I finished it. Here's the point. I had a massive, it fell out because, and I'm going to tell you why, it was back T part 2.
It was. It wasn't quite Dr. Grossballen. It was another doctor, Dr. Patrick Moore, who we got as a foil for the interview we did with the co-founder of Extinction Rebellion, Roger Hallam. Now, Patrick Moore, let's just say he's got a few spicy takes on the issue of climate change and other areas around environmentalism, which is interesting given that he himself co-founded Greenpeace and was one of its directors for about 15 years in the time that they were. Do you remember? I remember Greenpeace. You used to
I remember them.
They used to chain themselves to like oil rigs in the ocean just out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And like jump on Japanese whalers.
Yeah.
In 1991.
Yeah, mate, they didn't give, zero fucks were given by Greenpeace.
Absolute psychopaths, but in a good way.
Yeah. You know, did a lot of good, and he explained what the things that they did.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about Greenpeace at the top, but then we asked him a couple of questions, and then he just, he channeled his inner Dr. Big Balls.
That was me shooting a machine gun, which is what he was doing, metaphorically speaking, of course.
So if you want some truth bombs or possibly truth bombs on the old climate change-o, I'd be tuning in the next couple of weeks when we put that out, because the man gave precisely 0 Fs.
He gave precisely 0 Fs. He did not give a tinker's cuss, as they say in Ireland. Lovely. So we've got the Irish on board with that brilliant accent. Brendan O'Leary became a YouTube member. Well done, Brendan, mate. Fantastic
well done,
stuff.
Indeed. Brendan O'Leary has got it at the £2 shop. Well done, mate. And we have a PayPal from Dennis who says, all you're missing is an Ushanka hat, KK. Brilliant new cam. Absolutely. Well, who knows? Maybe when I'm in Ukraine, I'll pick myself up a little something. Very much of that persuasion.
Worker drone. Loot another button, FF. Give the people what they want. Well, here's the thing, Worker drone. This is what I'm going to do for you. At about 22, you might just see it. For the ladies.
Yeah. I'm off to GB News a little bit early again tonight.
And then, oh, mama, it's coming out.
So as far as I recall, the plan is you're going to undo the button and then you're going to do the pedo watch segment.
Yeah, exactly.
I think with another button undone, you would be the perfect host for that segment.
Yeah, I think I am. No, I'm not. I am pedo watch. That's what it's going to be. We're going to be looking. This is what we're going to do, right?
Right.
You're going to swan off to do your TV news with Dan.
He's not jealous at all.
No, I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. Don't give a shit.
You want to be surrounded by 3 gay men.
Don't fucking touch me.
You want to be surrounded by 3 gay men.
Touch me. Right, now here's the thing. This is what we're going to do, right? He's going to swan off. In the holiday, we're going to create some graphics and we're going to start the World of Gammon every Thursday for 40
World of Gammon.
That's what it's going to be.
Can you imagine someone randomly tunes in and just watches you do a show to the Gammon Camp for 40 minutes?
Listen,
let's give him a little taster. Let's give him a trailer.
Right, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be the best of gammon, all gammon, 100% gammon. It's going to be about why we want our fucking fish back, why Brexit is brilliant, and why white is brilliant. Probably too far.
Well, at least you raised both arms rather than one. That was a relief to me, I've got to be honest. Nicholas has sent us 50 quid. So let's get some love in the chat. Let's get some hearts. Let's get some dogs. Let's get some 9mm bullets in the chat for Nicholas, who says, enjoy the break, lads. It is well-deserved, he says. KK, safe journey back to the motherland and try not to get jabbed by the polonium-tipped umbrella sent courtesy of Uncle Vlad. You have all been a ray of sunshine to me over this long, shitty year, making life better with humor, fact, and
logic.
Correct. So thank you. Peace and love to all the team. Nicholas, you're an absolute superstar. Thank you for supporting the show. But we have people are just, there's a competition going on. A new PayPal from someone we've never had one from. It's Renate or Renate. I think, Anton, we need the camera for this one because this camera is flexible. Right.
There you go.
Renate says, have a great vacation. You deserve it, yeah.
Big Ox, you are the best, yeah.
So let's get some German flags in the chat for Renate. And by the way, Germany are definitely not going to beat England on penalties.
No, that's not
or in any other way. Definitely not going to happen.
When I'm on my holiday, do you know what I'm thinking of doing, right?
Yeah.
Thinking what we're going to do. Maybe I might go because Ibiza might be on the green list.
Ibiza, you would go to Ibiza. Are you just going to live your whole life through the medium of the Gammon Camp?
Yes, I am. I'm going to buy an England shirt and I'm going to go down to the local bar. And I can speak fluent Spanish. Yo puedo hablar español perfectamente bien. But I'm not going to do it. Tats out, gut out. Going to sit with Poon Poon. She's going to be like, oh my God, I want to see local culture. I'm like, shut it, princess. We're going to watch a fucking football, right? 6 Lambooners. Over here.
Why are you going to Ibiza, you gimp?
Why? Because it's legendary. It's a legendary place.
You don't even drink.
It's not the
Poon
point.
Poon is I was going to say she's a cultured lady. She's a relatively cultured lady.
Yeah.
Why are you taking her to Ibiza?
Because she loves it, mate.
For an 1830s holiday.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. We're going to do shots at the bar, right? Then We're going to do, you know.
Don't drink, you idiot.
Yeah. Then we're going to do some kind of party game, right? In which, I don't know, like you pass a dildo to each other with your teeth or whatever it is. And then you have a lot of banter afterwards. And then you go on a boat and you drink shots. This
Mate,
is what...
Mate, you're too old for Ibiza.
What do you mean?
What I mean is you're too old for Ibiza. You're nearly 40.
Tony, tell him I'm not too old. Come on.
See, you're too old, mate.
Come on. I don't look a day over 32, mate. If the kids saw me turned up, they would know that they're in the presence of excellence.
Former glory is what you mean.
No, mate.
Former glory.
Presence of excellence.
Anyway, Maximilian with a 5 says, Gammon time is on.
Listen, we're going to do, as long as he keeps doing GB, we're going to implement the world of gammon. We're going to have a little intro to it. We're going to have different things. Pedo watch. There's going to be loads of things. I'm going to plan it all out.
Mate, given some of the shit I'm probably going to say by accident tonight after this Raw on GB News, I'm probably not going to be doing it for very long. So it's absolutely fine, mate.
Yeah,
don't worry.
It's good.
You know what? You will probably get cancelled because I get cancelled.
No, what do you mean?
Like, I'll get cancelled from GB News for saying something outrageous,
yeah,
which would be perfectly normal on Raw,
yeah,
right? And then they will also cancel you by association.
Yeah, probably true.
So you'll probably get cancelled from GB without ever going on it.
No, here's the thing. The world of gammon will never be cancelled. In fact, first time I do Andrew Doyle's show, I'm going to go up. I'm going to go up to Andrew Neil, right, and go, oh, he's syrup of wigs. I'm going to say syrup. Come over here, mate. I've got an idea for you. World of gammon. That would go down brilliantly at GB News. Can you imagine that? Be me, the TV. We'll talk about the things.
Look, you could make a suggestion to Andrew Doyle when you do his show.
Yeah.
I mean, his show is called Free Speech Nation.
Yeah.
You could call it Gammon Nation.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be a great name.
Yeah. What about the GN, Andrew? Let's do it.
Yeah. The Gammon Nation. Anyway, thank you very much for that, Anton. Let's catch up on more of the Super Chattios.
This is from Andrew Collins. Tell the top shagger Boris to keep his boats away from Crimea. Love, Uncle Vlad. P.S. Ever thought of interviewing Russell Brand? Don't say anything that could get us sued.
Yeah, we had Russell Brand would be the perfect fit for this channel if we did not have principles when it comes to the bird front.
Yeah, if we didn't have principles when it came to ladies, we would get Brand on because actually it'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
He's a very interesting man. He's a very good comedian.
Yeah.
Just the other stuff.
Yeah. Los
pájaros lo aman, which means, do you know what that means?
No.
Anton, los pájaros lo aman.
No one cares.
Means the birds love it.
Fucking English.
Means the birds love it, man.
Is that what it means?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that Anton is just in the background and never seen. He's like a Scouse Maris from Frasier.
My wife used to watch her. Who's Maris from Frasier?
Benson. Oh, yeah, it's probably Maria then, isn't it?
Is that the one that rings in to show?
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Do you know that's actually a staple of comedy about how there's always one person that you can never see? Anyway, next.
Yeah. J. Dill with a 5. Thank you, J. Dill.
Fam Alam. So a 5. What did you think of
Fam Alam.
What did you think of the new away goals rule being removed from all UEFA club competitions for 2021-2022? Personally, I think it's as bad as VAR. I tell you, I think it's a disaster, and we'll just touch on it, and then we'll move on because no one cares about football. Well, I do until Wednesday when England are going to fucking break my heart, and I'm going to be there on a Balearic island going, it's a fucking disgrace.
You know what will happen though? Is if England get through,
what?
You're going to meet Ukraine, possibly, or Sweden, or Sweden.
I mean, Sweden versus Ukraine is going to be the most dull football match of all time.
What do you mean?
It will be.
What,
come on.
What compared to what? England 0-0 against Scotland, where you fell asleep.
I didn't fall asleep. I was too angry.
Right. And then what else? Who have you beat? You beat Croatia 1-0.
Oh yeah, magnificent.
Just about.
Yeah.
And then what was your last game?
Czech Republic.
Yeah.
1-0 to the England. Anyway, what do you think of the new away goals rule? All right, I'll tell you, family, very quickly, it's a disaster. The entire purpose of the away goals rule is it incentivizes the away team to become more attacking, to attack the goal. Therefore, because the away goals is worth 2 in European competition. Once you remove that incentive, then what incentive is there for the away team to go and attack? It's far better than to play it safe, stay behind, come away with a 0-0 and then try and go for the win at home. And then the away team will do the inverse.
All right. Well, we've lost all our American viewers now.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
I actually agree with you. I don't think it should have been taken away. Stop being mingy little slags. Anyway, Jimmy H with the fiver says, get yourselves a sexy natural tan on your holidays, my dears. And don't emigrate to the USA without brushing up your South London, Texas accents first.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate. Lovely.
We're not moving anyway just yet. People had a panic attack when we said so.
Yeah.
Icky Ike with the 2 quid says, did KK get a spray tan? No, Anton has gammonized the central camera.
Yeah, yes.
I think. So this is slightly pinker than I actually look in normal life.
Yeah.
I don't know why Anton's done that.
No, lovely. Next. Porotomsky, FF, you should get gammon tinted specs. Then you have all gammon all the time like a proper bigot. Sounds amazing.
Thanks, Porotomsky.
Call it straight in, no kissing.
Very good. Thanks, Whiskey Straight Al. Good little pun there.
Lovely.
You enjoy that, Anton?
Yeah, it's a big one. Yep.
It's a bit. Oh, hello.
Oh, mama.
It's Nathan Woodard. He it's still not enough to send Francis off to Belize, but
no,
we'll
it's
see
not.
what we can do.
Nathan, you're a good man, right? But I need the millions, right? So I can set up my harem.
You can't even count 2 million, mate.
I can't. No, I can't. 6 zeros. No, 7
anyway,
zeros.
Nathan, thank you so much for your very generous super chat. What can we get? Should we get some islands in the chat? Some brown birds?
Let's get some brown birds in the chat.
Yeah, let's get some birds and brown birds in the chat. And let's read out this message from the wonderful Nathan. What is he saying?
Thanks for helping us bigots to get through this awful year. Great interviews, great comedy, and wonderful use of the streaming live chat. Here's wishing you, Anton, Poon Poon, and Bleeder a well-deserved break. I'll miss you guys and all you bigots. Love you all. Can I get a bit of the gammon
Oh,
can?
absolutely, mate.
Listen.
Look at the way he's warmed up.
Listen, Nathan. Shut up. This is me, mate. This is me in my fucking element, son. Nathan, you're a great man. You gave $369. Thank you so much from everybody here. The money will be going to me because I'm the star of the show. Tony will be getting a biscuit allowance. He's deported.
Thanks, Nathan. Appreciate it. You're a star. Eric Juncker with the $5 says, I'd like to see a full-on kosher gammon cam, nix the Vlad cam, with FF's level of Cockney gammon fury. Well, we will see what you can do. This camera is very flexible. We've got lots of options on it. We actually put a little poll out on locals. The Vlad, Uncle Vlad Comrade cam did win, but there was a very good suggestion that it should be rotated with others. So we've already shown you a bit of the Kraut cam. We've obviously got the Comrade cam, and we will be considering other opportunities going forward, Eric. But thank you very much.
Lovely. Next. Ush. They should lock all the kiddly fiddlers in the same wing of prison and call it Savile Row. Boom.
Very good.
That is it. That's good. That's a pedo punt. What do we think, Anton?
He's a fan. You can tell. He's a fan.
Right.
James B with the 2 quid says, I'm crying on fire tonight, chaps. Thank you very much.
Yeah, lovely. Bob Bobson, we've had £1. Thanks, Bob. You're a gentleman. Nicole Dickens, women's weightlifting should be rather interesting or extremely unsurprising if you actually like the sport.
Now,
Listen.
Well, let's be honest about two things. First of all, no one likes women's weightlifting.
Well, I'm sure there's a few people. There's a few. Of course he does.
Anton.
Of course he does, mate. Listen, there's a lot of
Anton,
things.
Judge.
I like it amateur when it's amateur.
He's not even joking, man.
Are we still talking about weightlifting, Anton? Or is it other browsing habits you're describing there?
Yeah, amateur weightlifting.
Yeah.
He's an odd one, isn't he?
Yes, he is an odd one.
He's suspicious. Anyway, Anton, judging by your YouTube search history, I thought it was mostly beach volleyball you were into.
Pole vault, actually.
Pole vault.
Nice.
Anyway, well, apparently, Nicole, Anton does like women's weightlifting. No one else does, but it should be very interesting, shouldn't it, Francis?
It should be very interesting.
Yeah, are you looking forward to it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be good. Let's hope that one of them doesn't tear a testicle.
Nicole says, you both like the idea of a woman who can beat you up. I don't.
Okay.
You do.
Yeah.
And Anton, he's open to the possibility. He'd like a challenge.
No, I think Anton loves it more than me, mate. Look, I've seen some of his YouTube searches, and it's things like powerful women using a drill.
Really?
Yeah, it is. Stuff like that. So, and then all you're seeing it, right? Because normally with men, they like the boobs or the bum or the legs. No, it's just focusing in on her back with a definition. Powerful women using a pneumatic drill. That's what he likes.
You two are wrong uns.
Mate, I'm not.
What do you mean you're not?
No.
What do you mean you're not? Look at your face.
Mate, he's the one. He's just undercover. That's it. People say, oh, he's so nice. I'm like, no, he's not.
No, he's obviously not nice.
He needs help.
I don't know. I think he's beyond help.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, Nicole, thank you very much for the $5. James with a 10 quid.
I think World of Gammon should be a new travelling show. You two travelling the world, eating only proper British nosh and shouting English loudly and clearly at all those foreigners. That's what it is.
You know what? You know how much I love this country, right?
Right.
But I fucking hate English people abroad. Jesus Christ. I was once in Sicily where I took the two of you and I went to the local market and there was a guy in his 70s, an English guy wearing typical British tourist shorts, moccasins, right, with no socks, obviously.
Yes, of course.
And then he walked up to the guy and tried to buy something. The guy didn't speak English. He didn't speak a word of Italian. So he just fucking doubled down and started shouting, but slowly in English. I want 2 of them.
Yes, good. Because if you don't shout, then how they going to learn, mate?
It's fucking atrocious. It is the worst thing. Russians are embarrassing when they go abroad, but when I am abroad, I still pretend to be Russian rather than being English.
Yeah, no, we're the greatest nation in the world. People love us and we don't like them. You need to interview Ivor McTin.
Yeah. Thanks, Bad Lefty. Well, Anton, are we through the super chats or is there a few more? Because I do want to talk about our good friend Ivor. Yeah, there's a couple more. Let's do them. Jesus, Nathan Woodard. Fair play to you. That was very good. Thanks, Kick the Spike. Warren Broomhall with a 5 says, love you. This is a great name, Broomhall. It's not like broom cupboard, which would be small, like a broom hall, like the central storage location for all the brooms in the entire nation.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
What, do you not agree with me?
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's
a great name.
I'm going to go great, mate.
Broom Hall, legendary. Anyway, crack on.
Love you guys. £3 for the Gammon Cam. What are your thoughts on Brett Weinstein, ivermectin, and vaccine videos being removed by YouTubio?
Don't say anything. This is where we do our bow to Susan Wojcicki. Susan, you're the best. We say nothing about ivermectin or anything else. The Chinese communist virus definitely didn't come from the Chinese Communist Party or their lab in the world. What else, Francis? Help me out here.
We just think that everything you do is brilliant. That
let's get it synchronized.
Yeah, let's get it synchronized. That's difficult for me. Anyway, so when we accept that all your rules are good rules, everything is good. Everything that you say is bad until you change your mind, in which case it becomes bad or good, depending on your every whim. And we accept that you are in ultimate charge and you can cancel us and destroy our careers at the flick of a switch. And that's why we both love you and your powerful clitoris, Susan.
I feel like you kind of let us down at the end there, mate. I'm not sure that will let us off. But anyway, well done. Thank you. No, we obviously think it's completely wrong and we don't support it.
No, I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Some people just joined, including Dina Lambretti. Couldn't work out what was going on.
No, Dino!
Dino!
You should be on time, my son, right?
Yeah.
You're England. What's this fucking messing around, right? You're not foreign. Right, get the gam cam out. Right, Dino, you're fucking English, mate. Why are you turning up late, right? I know why you're turning up late, because your surname's Lambretta. That's Italian, and it means you can't turn up anywhere on time. And if you see money, you nick it. Behave.
Thanks, Francis. Well done. Let's crack on. Kate says, all I heard was powerful clitoris. Yeah, I think that was probably the key point in that whole speech.
Lovely.
Thank you very much.
Next.
Some more, we could do a story.
Yeah, let's do a story about our good friend Ivor.
Yeah. Ivermectin.
Ivermectin.
Ivor. Oh, Ivor.
Oh, he loves a drink, that one.
Oh, you know Ivor.
Yeah. So, COVID, ivermectin to be studied as possible treatment in the UK.
What right-wing Nazi publication is this?
It's the BBC. Hide this and we need the crowd cam. Was ist das? Weise investigates the bloody ivermectin in there. It is illegal, should not be on YouTube. Yeah. Good. Let's crack on.
COVID, ivermectin to be studied as possible treatment in UK. And this is from Rachel Schreier. I don't know how to spell her name. It should be called Smith. University of, I can't see it. University of Oxford scientists. Okay, so who's ever heard of a University of Oxford? Sounds like a shithole to me.
Anyway,
are trialing giving ivermectin to people with COVID symptoms to see if it can keep them out of hospital. The principal study will compare those given the drug to patients receiving the usual NHS care. The drug has become controversial after being promoted for use across Latin America, and in South Africa, South Africa, despite being so far unproven.
Very good, Bruce. Previous studies of Iver have generally been small or low quality. Keep going. Yeah, there we go. Most commonly used to treat parasitic infections such as river blindness spread by flies, ivermectin has also been shown to kill viruses in petri dishes in the lab, although at much higher doses than would normally be prescribed to people.
Dr. Aurora Beluha.
Oh, I bet she's one of yours.
Yeah, she is cool. She loves it as well. An anesthesiologist and critical care doctor said ivermectin was often being given in parts of the world
where people switch off their fucking phone before doing a show.
That is true. That is absolutely true. So there we go.
COVID patients who are also fighting parasitic disease at the same time would be likely to fare worse, and that might explain some of its seemingly positive effect. Though there have been some early promising results from small and observational studies, Principal Joint Chief Investigator Professor Richard's cover-up said it would be premature to recommend ivermectin for COVID. That was a joke, by the way. I have no idea if this is a useful medicine, not generally done. Carry on.
So observational studies look at people already taking the drug rather than giving it to a group representative of the population. So they failed to account for differences in the type of people who might choose that treatment and other factors that might have been influencing the spread of the virus at the time. Gold standard.
Francis, let's hide this because I'm going to have to go in a couple of minutes. There's a couple of things I want to say. The first one is something I said earlier today. If it turns out that COVID actually came from a lab, which looks very likely, not certain, but very likely, and if it turns out that ivermectin actually is effective at preventing and treating COVID, I'm never going to believe anything I read in the mainstream media ever again. If that actually turns out to be true. If those two things turn out to be true, that means we have been lied to about this pandemic, and big tech and big media suppressed those stories deliberately over this period of time. And I wouldn't be able to trust them anymore. So for their sake, if they want my eyeballs on their content, I hope that they didn't cover it up.
Anyway, I'm sure they care desperately.
That is something I feel very strongly about. But the other thing, Francis, is I'm going to have to go.
You're going to have to go?
I know the Pedo Watch segment is what you've been looking forward to.
It is.
Anton, please, let's get the comrade. Come on. I have wishes to convey to the people of Trigonometry, you beautiful bigots. Communism is for you. It is coming. I will bring extra communism back for you from Ukraine. I will see you in a week's time. In the meantime, enjoy interview with this bigot, and many other bigots. Take care, and I will see you soon.
There we go.
There we go. All right, guys, take care. I'm be on GB News from 9 o'clock. Make sure you stay around for the Pedo Watch segment. It is coming. Have a good one. Take care, and we'll see you soon. And remember, the interviews will be coming out. We've got the wonderful Sebastian Gorka for you this Sunday. And the next Wednesday, it's Francis and I talking all things lockdown. And then the Sunday after that, we've got an even better interview for you. Take care. See you soon.
Anton, right. You ready? Cool. Let's do it.
Give me back more fish.
And don't touch my fucking scampi.
Right, here we go. Welcome one, welcome all. Welcome to World of Gammon, the best show on the internet by far. We've cut out the dead wood, and now it's plain sailing. No, I'm not going to do that. That looks dodgy. It is plain sailing all the way. Let's get some super chats in. Anton, let's see what we've got. Let's see. Let's tie the shirt. Don Jones, trigger warning. What's one advantage to being a pedo? You look bigger in the photos. That is diabolical. That is absolutely unforgivable. Anton, block and report him. You can't have that. Next. Free the people with a $10. Interview Epoch Times Roman Balmakov or Joshua Phillips. Good education of CCP and journalism as a whole. Are Republicans' family finally getting it? Demonetize 1/20th Biden Day. Doing news years 20 CCP. And I don't know, mate. That just sounds like you've overdosed on ivermectin. I'm going to be honest with you. So anyway, there's nothing I can do. Roman Balmakov. That sounds like Konstantin's cousin, Roman Balmakov.
No, it's my mum.
It's your mum. Right, there we go. Good woman. Did fabulously as part of the USSR shot putting team. Next. Zolly with 1,000 huffs. 1,000 of them. I'm sure that's worth about 6p, but thanks for Zolly. England's matches have been dull, but Hungary's matches have been fantastic. But the news is instead just pointing out how we're problematic. Right? Let's get the gammon cam on. Zolly, who's in the line next round of the Euros? Is it Hungary? No, you slags. England. Yeah. To be fair, you played very well. I watched all your matches and you boys did yourself credit. But apart from, and actually you were far more entertaining to watch in England. But we're still through, so. Anyway, thanks, Ollie. Eric Juncker, World of Gammon, and bring Carl Pilkington with you. That's what we should do. It should be me and Carl talking about the world and the absolute lunacy and insanity of it and how we don't agree with it in any shape or form. And we'd be wearing matching England kits. That's exactly what it needs. Next. Westfield with a $10. For FYI, your merch link below leads to a page not found. Also, can I buy that trigger poster on the back without a frame? I don't know if frame would survive the trip to the US. I'm sure you are able to buy the frame. Yeah, you can. And so buy it and we'll send it over to you.
They're shipped locally.
Okay, and they're shipped locally as well. So you wouldn't even need to actually get it from here. They will send it to you from the US. How good is that? We're good people, mate. Don't believe the rumours. Next. Jay Savage is $5. Where's Epstein? Mate, at the rate that this year has, if you told me that Epstein was still alive and sitting with his mate Bill Clinton on a beach in the Philippines somewhere, I'd believe you. Next. That is it for now. Oh, mate, there is so much for us to talk about. But you know I love birds, don't you, Anton? You know I absolutely love a bird. Anton, there is at, let's see, at 12, there is a bird-related story that I think it's important that we share with the entire world. Anton, bring it up. We're going to talk about it. Crew, fancy that. Thousands of racing pigeons vanish. Exactly. Don't ever say that we're not bringing you the big stories from Trigonometry. Let's scroll down. Let's scroll down. Here we go. Mystery surrounds the disappearance of up to 10,000 pigeons that went missing. Constantin's still in the flat. He's absolutely furious. He likes to talk about the big issue. No, mate. Let's talk about missing birds. 10,000 of them that went missing during races on Saturday in an unprecedented phenomenon. That's right. The pandemic isn't the only unprecedented thing that's happening. Some of the birds have still not returned, leaving fanciers concerned and baffled, while other pigeons emerge hours or even days after they were expected. Ian Evans, Chief Executive of the Royal Pigeon Racing Association, RAPRA, said he had quickly realised that something unusual was happening. I'm 45 and have kept pigeons since I was 9 years of age, and I've never heard anything like this. It was extremely unusual and is a real mystery, he said. There have been suggestions that solar winds may have affected the Earth's magnetic field, and you thought pigeons were stupid, disrupting the navigational abilities of the birds. However, the Met is unaware of any such phenomena. Weather conditions were good on the day, and fanciers. Why does it make them sound like they're into bestiality? But in the event, thousands of birds simply didn't return and are yet to return, which is of course a concern to the owners and breeders. Maybe birds don't love it when it comes to racing. Anyway, let's take this off. Anton, you are from Liverpool. My uncle, who was from Wigan in the northwest, he used to have racing pigeons. Did any of your family have racing pigeons?
No, he didn't. But do you know who's a famous pigeon? Was it a pigeon fancier?
Yeah, he is. Mike Tyson.
Another one?
No.
Duncan Ferguson.
There you go. And the Americans are going, Who is Duncan Ferguson? And my answer to that is exactly. Unless I meet him, in which case, Duncan, big fan of your work and love everything you do, you massive Glaswegian psychopath. Anyway, guys, so you can see that pigeons don't love it. There's loads of them that have gone missing. The pandemic is getting new and ever more diverse victims as a result. Anton, have we got any super chats? Let's bring them up. Cam, $5. I can concur. I went to the bar yesterday. No birds anywhere. Someone needs to do something. Well, exactly. I think that we can all agree with that. Thank you very much, Cam. Next. James, with a £3. I pay £100 per month to watch you and Carl P. That's exactly what we should do. I don't know where Carl is or where he lives. We should get him. We can pay for an Uber if he lives around the corner. If not, he's made enough fucking money. He can get here under his own steam. But it'd be me and him talking about the world. Great point, James. Next. James, all pigeons matter. It's what I've been saying for a long time, mate, right? It can't just be one pigeon, you know, or the pigeon that we all like. It's got to be all pigeons. All pigeons matter. Next.
There was a large segment of the interview today, wasn't there, with Patrick Moore?
Yeah, it was. We were talking. Oh, we had Patrick Moore on the show. He was brilliant, former founder and leader of Greenpeace and whatever else. And he was actually talking about birds and gizzards. So if you're into birds and gizzards, it is a great interview. In fact, right, we're going to do something about pigeons next.
Also, if you look closely in the interview, you'll see Konstantin really struggling to keep a straight face.
Yeah, I know. He was cracking up. Next, Marty Gray with a £5. Read as a Geordie. FF. There's a bloke I'd eat Sunday dinner in 38 degrees weather in Hispania. Go on, lad. There's a bloke I'd eat Sunday dinner in 38 degrees weather in Hispania. Go on, lad. Was that all right? No. All right. I did my best. Thanks, Marty Gray. Next. Sean T. You promised more chess. We are waiting. There you go. There you go. Oh, yes. There we are. That's it. One for the birds. Thanks, Sean T. If you want more than that, you're going to have to pay more, son. We're going to turn YouTube into the OnlyFans. Next. We have got no more super chats. Anton, can you get Konstantin's Instagram up, please? Go and get Konstantin's Instagram at Konstantin Kisin on Instagram, and we're going to do something, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to absolutely punish him for what he did. He left us so he could go and swan off to play with, you know, Andrew Doyle and Plastic Wit and Plastic Hair Man himself. Let's bring it up. Let's bring his Instagram up. We're going to see it. And when we do, we've got a plan. I've got a plan, actually. And this is what the plan is, right? We are going to show him how birds matter. Go at Konstantin Kisin on Instagram, and I want you to give him he's only got one post because he thinks Instagram isn't good enough for him. He's an intellectual, right? And what I want you to do is I want you to bombard his Instagram with birds. Birds love it, quotes, emojis of birds, photographs of birds, so that when he's sitting there doing his stuff on G&B, going, I'm facts and logic, man. His phone is going mental because he's getting bombarded with pictures of birds. Let's see how he likes it. Eventually, we're going to do this, and we're going to break him from the inside, and he's never going to leave us again. Anyway, have we done that?
It's not letting us bring it up.
Is it not letting us bring it up? Unbelievably, Zuckerberg has.
Only one post.
I know Zuckerberg has every angle covered. But those Jews like sticking together, don't they? Zuckerberg's protecting Konstantin. Unbelievable. Anyway, have we got any super chats, Anton? No, not at all. Not at all, you tight motherfuckers. Right, let's go on to, let us talk about a story. Let's do that. Let's talk about a story. Which one can we talk about, Anton? I need you to pick it. Let's see. Let's see what we have got. Pick one up. Pick one up.
Quite a sad one, but important.
Okay, let's do it. Let's put one in there. Here we go. Okay, NHS leaders. Fucking hell, mate. This wasn't. We did the depressing stream on Tuesday. Now you picked this one up. Anyway, NHS leaders say young children have become increasingly anxious and that millions will need mental health treatment in wake of lockdown. So let's scroll down. Here we go. So 5-year-olds are suffering panic attacks about meeting their friends. NHS leaders have said amid warnings 1.5 million children will, keep scrolling down, need mental health treatment in the wake of repeated lockdown. Experts said young children have become increasingly anxious, with some fearful of leaving their homes amid an explosion in locked-in trauma across the country. Waits of up to 4 years for help on the NHS have forced a growing number of families to seek help from private psychologists, only to find that they're oversubscribed and unable to take on more patients, a Telegraph investigation revealed. Leading private therapists said they are taking twice the normal level of calls from worried parents, forcing them to turn away patients or open waiting lists for the first time in their careers. Keep scrolling. Experts said many children were suffering behavioural problems fueled by lockdown, social distancing and fear of infection, with many now anxious about everyday social activities. Keep scrolling. Forecasts seen by this newspaper state that an extra 1.5 million children and young people will require mental health support as a direct impact of the pandemic during the next 3 to 5 years. The recalculations from the Centre for Mental Health involving NHS economists suggest demand will be as much as 3 times greater than the capacity of mental health services. Dame Rachel D'Souza, Children's Commissioner for England, said a survey of more than 550,000 children, the largest such poll in history, will show mental health to be the greatest concern of this generation of children. She said her visits across the country as part of a forthcoming commission had found children suffering locked-in trauma and struggling to adjust to changes to their lives since the pandemic. Right, I think we've seen enough of this. Right, so let's talk about this. Right, so I'm a former teacher. I know you don't believe that, but it is actually true. This lockdown has been an unmitigated, horrendous disaster, not only for children, but specifically for the poorest and most vulnerable kids in society. For those kids, school is an oasis from the chaos that envelops their lives. School is the one place where they know there's going to be consistent boundaries. There's going to be people looking after them. They're going to be fed. They're going to be watered. It's going to be consistent. What children crave above anything else is rules and consistency, because that is how a kid feels safe. If you think back to who was probably your favorite teacher at school, chances are it was the strictest teacher. And why was that? Even if you didn't like them at the time, because they made you feel safe, because they were consistent, and that is what kids crave. What the lockdown has done, it has thrown all the rules out. It has changed everything. It has plunged an entire country into chaos, a society into chaos, and the society of a school into chaos as well, which means children feeling alone, unsafe, and as a result of that being incredibly more and more anxious. Then you put on top of that the health element, and the reality is that kids have no reason to feel anxious at all with this pandemic, unless they have a pre-existing medical condition or they're highly vulnerable, because studies have shown that this virus is incredibly safe for children. So they really have no need to fear it, not in the same way an old person would. So the reality that these kids are terrified is awful. We have not begun to understand what we have done by imposing lockdown on this country. It has been a disaster, but in particular, it has been a disaster for our children. I've been talking to teacher mates of mine. They were saying the middle class kids, the kids who had mum at home, who've got the ability to have private tutoring, they are now streets ahead. The kids who actually need school the most have gone back 1 or 2 years in their attainment, in their social skills, in their concentration levels, because all they've done is been sat in front of a TV all day. It has been a disaster. And this is something that a lot of people won't tell you, and you won't find out yourself. There are now 20,000 kids off the school roll. No one knows where they are as a result of the pandemic. This has been a disaster for our children. And really, one of the things we need to do when we have an inquiry into lockdown, which hopefully, who knows when that will be, but let's be fair, it needs to happen, because we can't keep doing this again and again. But when we have an inquiry into this, we need to look at the effect this has had on our kids And we need to have studies on this generation. What has been the effect of them missing school? Anyway, so let's have some super chats and we'll crack on with the next story. Mental Lentil. Have a nice break, FF. Thanks very much, Mental Lentil. Really do appreciate it. Don Graham, you're top lads. You kept me going. Godspeed. Thanks, Don. Really appreciate it. And Bloody Skies, I hope. And Bloody Skies, behave yourself, mate. Don't get me cancelled from some horrendous filth that you have sent me or posted to me. It goes, my hope for the women's weightlifting. Laurel, anyway, I'm not reading the rest of that. That is absolute filth of the highest order. Bloody Skies, you are a disgrace. I mean, it could be described as quite funny, but actually, it isn't. Well, it's all right. Anyway, I'm not reading it. It's filth. Anton, let's go to story number 13. Let's get it up. Let's get story number 13 up. Let's do it. Let's see what this is all about. Okay, no baby boom in first lockdown as births dropped 10%. Number of births plummeted to record lows this summer, while easing restrictions last summer led to a spike this March. And this is by Joe Pinkstone. What a great name. Births in the UK dropped to a record low in 2020, and for the first time since 1976, there were more deaths than births. Official figures show that in 2020, in England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland, there were 683,180 babies born, the equivalent of one every 46.2 seconds. However, there were 689,708 deaths. This is the first time since 1976 when deaths have outnumbered births, and it has not happened for any other year since record began in the 1930s. Scotland was the source of the most imbalance in 2020, with 37% more deaths than births. Northern Ireland, however, saw 18% more deaths than births, more births than deaths, while England and Wales, which is tracked by the ONS, had 1% more births. Births in the UK have now declined every year for 8 years. I mean, that's quite worrying, isn't it? At the start of the pandemic, it had been speculated there would be a spike in births in 9 months' time due to couples being cooped up together. However, something's happened, not just an advertisement. However, the figures show the opposite was true, and the number of births plummeted to record lows. Not enough of you were shagging. What's the matter? Anton, what happened with you, mate? You just stopped. What do you mean you just stopped? You can't just stop, Anton. You can't just, mate. You've got a country to populate. You're in here. You're in a studio in London. You've got access to 252,700 people, 300,000 across all platforms, and you couldn't get one woman to make a mistake. Not even one lady. Disgraceful. One metric in the statistical arsenal of the ONS is the total fertility rate, which gives a number for the amount of children per woman. Since records began, this was highest in 19, but dropped rapidly after abortion was legalized in 1968. So there we go, guys. Thank you very much. Let's get rid of this. You're not doing enough shagging. You're letting yourself down. You're letting your family down. You're letting everybody down, right? This country needs you, right? Do the good thing. Don't use protection. Have some fun. What do we think about that?
I'm just happy I've got YouTube and I've got...
I was going to say, I thought
Italian
you were
women's
happy you
clothing.
got me. You weird individual. Anyway, let's get some super chats up. Eli Munoz. Generation X's were known as latchkey kids, and neglect was second nature. I turned out fine. Looking at me now, paying for your friendship $5 at a time. Exactly, Eli Munoz, right? I remember my mum, right, when my cousin, so my mate came to stay with me over summer 97, and my cousin came to stay with me from Venezuela. And I remember my mum literally kicking me out of the house and saying the words to me when I was 15 years old, Francine, not come back until nighttime. And then that's what we did. We just roamed around day in, day out, like the homeless tramps that we were, unloved, unwashed, uncared for. And you know what? It was great. It was actually what made a childhood exciting. I feel sorry for kids now, just cooped up, sat in front of the TV. What stories are you going to have from sitting in front of the Xbox? Oh, and then I logged off. Oh, fuck off. You know, let kids be kids. They've got to go out. They've got to go out roaming. They've got to be able to piss people off. They've got to be able to get into scrapes. It's what it's all about. Did you get into scrapes, Anton, as a young man? Or is it not, as a young boy, sorry?
I got into a few. It was mainly because stray footballs.
Stray
went through
footballs.
people's windows.
Stray footballs entering through people's windows. And I bet the neighbours absolutely hated it. Anyway, next. Martin with a £5. Thank you very much, Martin. Let's have the next one. Ken Churchill became a YouTube member. Thank you very much, Ken. We really do appreciate it. Thank you. Dino Lambretta. School was junk. The pottery teacher was fit. Sue lent to fry pot. Wasn't brilliant at pottery when I left. There you go. Well done, Dino. I'm sure you got a lot of value from it. Excellent stuff. Next. James, I'm truly disgusted by lockdown and the effect it's had on kids and everywhere else. The virus is a 15-foot wave. Lockdown is a tsunami following behind. Absolutely. Now, look, nobody on this channel, well, actually, there's probably somebody who thinks COVID's a hoax, but we know that's not the case. COVID is a real virus. We all know people who've suffered from it. I've personally had it. Of course, I shook it off like a real man, mate. Absolutely walked it off, right? But we all know somebody's had it or had a family relative pass away from it in Venezuela. We know that it is a potentially serious virus if you have comorbidities, which we all know. However, we have thrown the baby out with the bathwater. In the rush to protect our old people, we have sacrificed our young people. And it is an absolute tragedy. It's a tragedy because we have thrown a whole generation on the scrap heap. We had David McIver on the show, not David McIver, he's a comedian. David McWilliams, you know, same thing, both Irish, who cares, right? David McWilliams on the show, and he talked to us about an economic phenomenon called scarring. And what that means is that you can predict someone's earning power from what they earn in their 20s. And if they do not earn a large amount in their 20s, or if their growth or if their earning power is stunted in their 20s, that is more than likely follow them for the rest of their lives. And we're doing that to an entire generation of young people. Can you imagine being a young person coming out of college, university, trying to find a job now? It will be an utter unmitigated disaster. They have my complete sympathy. It has been a disaster for them. They've been stuck at their universities, forced to pay $9,000 to watch a Zoom call. You might as well just watch Trigonometry. Give us $5, much better. You know, locked in their dorms. You know, they're not allowed to go out, not allowed to socialize. Kids are being kept at home. Schools are shut. Now, we have to try and protect the elderly and the vulnerable. Of course we do. That would only be the correct and sensible thing to do and the compassionate thing to do. But what you can't do is protect one part of society and throw everybody else on the bonfire, because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And what you're going to do is you're going to cripple society, because the people who are going to be needed to pay off the debt aren't the old people, because their working life is done. It's young people. Young people are going to be the ones who are going to have to pay off this debt, which is why you need to send me a fucking super chat, right? Anyway, I'm not young. I'm youngish. Anton, shut up. Don't say anything. Next. Richard Morris, the Nometry. Thanks, Rich. You're a gentleman. William Herbert Hawkes. My barrister told me to stay away from you lot. Well, it's true, mate. You know, you've been given the restraining order. You need to respect it. Next.
That's it for now. We've got some PayPals coming through.
Yes, so we've got PayPals coming through. I am going to look at the PayPalios. Thank you to everybody who has sent PayPals through. We really, really, really do appreciate it. So let's see here. Okay, so let's see here. This is from Dennis Christensen. A few quid you can add to your account in the Bermudas FF Long Live Gammon special. That is what we're going to do. By this time, in a few weeks, we're going to do the World of Gammon. We're going to have complete with comedy segments. It's going to be absolutely brilliant for you to tune in and get everything gammon related in the world. Whereas to the mother-loving players giving £200. Here's a few quid for an extra button. Thank you very much, Rez and Pez. Let's have some buttons in the chat. Let's have some squids in the chat because they've given 200 squids. Let's have some love, some hearts in the chat. Poon Poon has just messaged me saying you've got too many buttons unbuttoned. No, she's just turned on. She loves it as well. Thank you very much, Rez and Pez. You are legends. Jim Nolan, I found all the pigeons there eating my lawn grass lines. It's a Greg's sausage roll. I don't understand that. It sounds diabolical. Thank you to everybody sending in the PayPalos. We really do appreciate it. Helps to keep the show on the road. This is from Jack Carter. I've sacrificed a year of my education, put on loads of weight, and my mental health has reached an all-time low due to lockdown. I want these fuckers to pay for what they've done. And he's given me his name because he didn't want me to read out his name. Sorry, Jack, but I read it out anyway. Jack, I have complete sympathy for you. What your generation has suffered from has been a travesty. Being young, see, we all forget this, but being young is actually incredibly difficult. You're trying to find your way in the world. You're trying to find out who you are. You're trying to find out what you like, what you want, who you are, all the rest of it. Look, it's a glorious time being in your 20s, but it's also a difficult time. It's a tricky time negotiating who you are, what you want. Being forced to do that under a lockdown, especially in your 20s when you're at your most social, is utterly devastating. You have my sympathy, and hopefully we can get out of this mess and you can go back to living your normal life, right? Stay sane, and hopefully we'll be out of this soon. I don't think we will, though, Jack. I'm going to be honest with you. But you've got to have hope. Do you know what I mean? Because if you don't have hope, then you end up like me. Basically, looking like you've been a night out on the piss. You've got your shirt open, and you're looking like an alcoholic. Anyway, so let's have we got any super chattios, Anton? And if not, we'll bring up a story. Yeah. Let's see. So if we need a story, do we? Okay, let's talk about a German who is trying to stop us from going on holiday. Oh yeah, it's Angela Merkel. Angela Merkel has bid to block UK tourists from Europe unjustified, minister says. So let's scroll down. German demands for restriction on all UK holidaymakers visiting Europe were branded unjustified by a cabinet minister today as the government prepares to add popular tourist islands such as Ibiza and Mallorca to the travel green list. So, get a gammon cam on. This is something that you need to understand, Angela, darling, right? It is a British person's right and prerogative to go over to countries like Mallorca or Ibiza, right? Go out on the lash, get your tats out, right? Throw up in the street and tell birds that they love it. And you and your mingy little German slags are going to do nothing to prevent us from that happening, all right? I don't care if you got a bold fucking haircut, right? It looks like you put a bowling edge and you trim round it. You're not telling me or everyone else what to do. Slag. Anyway, so there we go. Let's go back. There we go. Let's go back on the thing. Perfect. George Eustace, the Environment Secretary, criticised the intervention from Angela Merkel, insisting that Britain's advanced vaccination programme meant that UK travellers pose no specific threat. Well, they do, just only when they've been drinking. The German Chancellor called for all EU countries to force British holiday makers to quarantine on arrival as part of measures to stop the spread of the Delta variant of the coronavirus, which is now dominant in the UK. Germany already requires most Britons to quarantine for 14 days. Why? We're not going to want to go to Germany, are we? While Italy and Poland have also announced similar measures in recent days. Eustace criticised the comments. Speaking to LBC Radio, he said, "I'm not sure that an approach would be justified given the highly advanced stage we are currently at now in terms of vaccination, with 80% having one jab and now 60% having had the second jab. I don't think such a move would be justified, but obviously it's for individual countries to make these judgments." Scroll down. France's President Macron later echoed Merkel's comments, urging EU leaders to take a firmer line on travel from countries outside the bloc, such as Britain, to combat the Delta variant. He said the 27-nation group needed to take coordinated decisions on opening borders to people from other countries. Let's scroll up, because what we're seeing here, Anton, if you can just scroll up, please, mate. Scroll up. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. We scroll up. Look, here we go. EU leaders needed to take a firmer line on travel from countries outside the bloc. So you see what it actually comes down to. I think it's not actually the Delta variant, right? It's not the fact that, you know, we pose an increased risk from the UK. It's the fact that we implemented Brexit and we left the EU. And what these countries are trying to do, are they trying to punish ordinary British citizens, 48% of whom, may I make it clear, didn't vote for Brexit, right? To stop them going on holiday and visiting other places. This country has one of the best vaccination programs in the world. I think Boris Johnson has behaved like a fat scarecrow who's done absolutely fuck all in his time here, apart from roll around and try and impregnate other women, right? However, what cannot be denied is that the vaccine program in this country has been second to none. In one of the top 5 of the world, in fact, right? So, if we've been so good, and if our travellers are vaccinated, then what is the problem with them going to different countries? What is the problem with them going to different countries if they come armed with a PCR test? And I'll tell you what it is. It's very simple. This all comes down to Brexit. This comes down to France, Germany, all these countries, absolutely furious that the UK has left the EU and as a result are trying to punish us and its citizens. They did exactly the same thing with the vaccine rollout program and they're doing exactly the same thing now. But here's the issue, right? And this is the punchline to the EU project as a whole, because next year there is a very, very high chance that Marine Le Pen will get elected. And if she does get elected, you can kiss France goodbye to the EU. The reality is that there is a lot of people in all those EU countries who are absolutely furious with the EU for good reason. The EU is a project which is run for Germany's interests economically. The euro does not work for economies like Italy, Greece, Spain, Portugal, etc. You saw the interview with Mark Blyth. Italy has basically been in recession for 20 years. Why? A large part of that is the euro. The euro is not a currency that is suitable for the Italian economy or the other economies that I have said. Freedom of movement has created a brain drain where the brightest and best go from the poorer countries to the richer countries. And look, you can't blame those people for doing that. That is human nature. They want to improve and better themselves. Fair enough. But what you cannot have is a brain drain going from poorer countries to richer countries, because guess what? If the brightest and best leave a country, it's never going to improve. All you're going to have in the EU are these countries, the Italys, the Spains, the Portugals, getting poorer and poorer and poorer, and the Germanys becoming wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. It is unsustainable. Until the EU decides to do something in order to actually rectify the situation, number one with the euro and number two with the freedom of movement situation, which I don't think they will do, then the entire project is doomed. And for me, it's a question of when, not if. And these attempts to punish Britain are, to me, looking incredibly, incredibly sour grapes-like. And to me, they seem like bullying. We do not pose an increased risk if we have a PCR test, if we have a COVID vaccine. It is simple common sense. It's a disgrace as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, let's have some super chattios. Here's the 42 years young FF. Thank you very much, Eric Juncker. I'm not 42 years young. I'm 39, mate. Lovely. Next. We've got one from Web Squirrel. Exciting. Okay. Has FF ever peed in a sink? Honest answer only. I'm going to tell you a story, right? And this isn't a very nice story, right? Do you know, I once taught a class that were particularly, this was a primary school, right? That were particularly out of control. But I kept them on a firm leash. And one day, we got the supply teacher in, and one of the kids pooed in the sink. 11 years old. And then we had what we called Poogate, as we did an investigation to find out who it was. And this was a problem. So we were all there, and I walked in, and I had a very, very serious look in my eye, right? Deputy head came in, very good mate of mine, loved her pieces. She walked in, and she was like, right, who did it? And tore into them. Nobody said anything. And she went, well, I know somebody did it because I walked into the toilet and it's there smiling at me. And at that point, I burst into laughter, and so did my colleague. Very unprofessional. So there you go. Next. Kick the spike. But FF, Italy wasn't doing so well with their lira. It's a good point, kick the spike, but they're doing it worse now. They have been in recession for 20 years. A 20-year recession. That is unheard of. And it doesn't look like they're getting out of it either. Next. Jay Savage. The EU is a way for Germany to continue 15th century mercantilism in the 20th century. Just ask the Greeks. Well, quite. We've seen the effect that the EU has had. We've seen how the EU has decimated Greece. In fact, you've even got prominent left-wing economist Yanis Varoufakis, who was at one time a big fan of the EU project, is now a staunch advocate for Greece to leave and is deeply cynical. And if you've got someone like Yanis who thinks like that, then what does that tell you about the project as a whole? It does not work for the southern economies and the poorer economies. Next. FM, for your $7 for your truth from the EU. Thank you very much, FM. Next. That is it. We need to do some retalk. That is a good point, Anton. Well done, mate. Put some retalk in the chat. Let's see what it is. Let's get it up. If you were given $100,000 so you could chase your dream, about 76 grand, what dream would you chase? Anton, what dream would you chase, mate?
I'm collecting money for the employment tribunal.
Been
fired that many times.
Yeah, you have. That's what he would do. He would find the best lawyer possible to come up against KK. My dream would be, I would live John McAfee's dream. I would go to Belize and start my own harem and then run out of cash after about 4 months. You reckon? I reckon that's about that. I reckon that's about as much as I could get with about 76,000 quid. Anyway, let's scroll. Let's see what some people have said. Let's see what some people have said. Here we go. I would open a little sandwich shop called The Right Bite. We would neither serve nor drink the Kool-Aid here. Oh, man, come on. You've got 100 grand. You're going to open a sandwich shop. Have some drink. What? Scroll up. Scroll up, please. To be alone with my dog. You absolute pervert. I hope you get arrested. Scroll down, please. After reading this, I want to change my answer. Having a bank account with $100,000 in it. Good answer. Fix them for my foundation in my house. I'd sleep better at night for sure. He's got banging chat, hasn't he? Great. Foundations are no joke and expensive AF. I have a friend who lives... I mean, you can tell, like, the chat is absolutely popping in this one. So, anyway, Retalk is a social media platform for the centre and the centre-right. It's absolutely brilliant. If you want to go and meet like-minded individuals, like Reddit, but without the minges. Lovely. Anton, have we got any super chats? Bring them up. If not, then we can do a story. Let's see. Cat J, you didn't answer sync question, FF. Of course I haven't. I'm a gentleman, darling. Next. William Herbert Hawkes, if any claim to be our owners, just wreck them. Well, that's probably true, mate. Well done. Next. The EU should be renamed the Fourth Reich. Lovely. Thank you. Next. That is it for now. So let's talk about number 11. About sometimes it's the good guys. The good guys are the ones good things happen to. And this guy is one of the best. You love him. I love him. Anton in particular loves him. Look at him. What a lovely man he is. Look at it. He doesn't look like a pedo waxwork being brought to life. Look at his dead little rodenty eyes. Gideon, you knob. Anyway, scroll down. George Osborne made chairman of British Museum. And this is from George Grillis. George Osborne has been appointed chairman of the British Museum at a time when the institution is under increasing pressure to return artefacts looted, borrowed, mate. We just borrowed them, all right? We just borrowed them. We're looking after them. It's going to be fine. The former Chancellor will take up his new role in October after stepping down last year as editor of the Evening Standard. He will combine his position with a partnership at Roby Warshaw, a Mayfair investment bank. And I'm sure he did it not because he pandered or gave them little favours when he was in power, but because he's the best man for the job. Sorry, scroll back up just a little bit, please, Anton. His appointment comes after Oliver Dowden, the Culture Secretary, accused institutions of pandering to political fads and noisy movement, saying he would bring more people from working class backgrounds into senior board positions. And that's a great reason. Gideon's from a working class background, mate. He knows all about the struggle. Look at him and his waxy little cheeks. In an article last month, Dowden said that museums and galleries should no longer be governed by people from metropolitan bubbles. He criticised those who want to tear down or rename statues, highlighting the decision by students at Liverpool University to remove William Gladstone's name from an accommodation block because of the former Prime Minister's links to slavery. Well, good. Let's just get rid of all of them. Let's just get rid of everybody. Everybody who's got a link to anything dodgy, let's get rid of it. Did you tweet something at 11? Get rid of it. Was there somebody who did something dodgy in 1742? Get rid of him. Did you think about doing something? Cancel you. I think what we need to do, guys, and I think this is very important, I think we need to cancel everybody. Because let's be fair, we're all human. We've all done something wrong. We've all said something nasty. We've all been mean. We've all been uncruel. We've all been unkind. We've been all of those things. And I think humanity cannot progress until we cancel everybody. Let's just remove everybody, right? Think how nice the world would be if there was nobody left. I think that's what we should all do. I think we should all go down to the cliffs of Dover today, hand in hand, and just jump off as one. Let's just cancel everybody. It'd be better. Come on. That'd be great. And then, we can hashtag be kind. It'd be the perfect thing to do in the circumstances. Anyway, heritage institutions should be free from government meddling, but the people who run them need the courage to stand up against the political fads and noisy movements of the moment, he wrote in the Sunday Telegraph. Scroll down. That's why I want to make sure the boards of these bodies are genuinely diverse and not solely governed by people from metropolitan bubbles. I want a grandparent in a Hartlepool or Harwich to feel as represented by their decision as a millennial in Islington. Lovely sentiment, mate, but it's not going to fucking happen, so get over yourself. So, let's see. Then, whilst we're talking about the Tories, let's give them another good kicking. Let's go to story 7, Anton. Let's go to story 7. Let's see what their greedy little gimps have been up to now. Oil and gas donors, and this is from The Guardian, of course it is. Occasionally The Guardian does do good journalism when they remember what journalism actually is, instead of bleating to us and preaching to us about how to live our lives and why black buildings are racist. Oil and gas donors gave over 400 grand to Tories before North Sea decision. Payments in past year came as governments decided on licenses for new fossil fuel sites. Let's scroll down. Individuals and companies linked to the oil and gas industries have donated more than 400 grand to the Conservative Party in the past year. Why don't they donate it to us, mate? My electricity bill's gone through the roof. That would be the thing to do, wouldn't it? Anyway, while the government mulled controversial new licenses to explore the North Sea for fossil fuel production, it can be revealed. Disclosures from last July to the end of March, the latest date for which data is available, shows that at least 420 grand was given to the Conservatives by donors with a strong interest in oil and gas, including in the North Sea, researched by the environmental investigation group DSMOG and The Guardian has found. The donation includes a total of 25 grand from Amjad Brown, the chief executive of Onquest, and an oil and gas company. Anyway, let's get rid of it because it's now depressing, right? You see, this is a reason, and I'm wondering actually if how many people of you like you are in my position. I'm someone who's got conservative values. I believe in hard work. I believe that ultimately you're in charge of your life, that you need to exercise responsibility, that there are consequences for your actions. And actually, if you take responsibility, you work hard, chances are you're going to be okay. And we need to live in a society which rewards people for making the correct choices, right? And I don't want the government interfering in my life. I don't want the government telling me where to go, what to do, all of those. But I could never, ever vote Conservative for things like this. The Tory sleaze is absolutely disgusting. It is vile. You saw it with David Cameron's behaviour with Greensall. You've seen it with Boris's behaviour. You've seen it with the contracts being handed out for PPE and all the rest of it. And you see it with this as well. I look at that Tory government and I think Rishi's done a good job. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Rishi looks comfortable, but a lot of them are gross. And in all honesty, I couldn't bear to vote for the lot of them, considering the sleaze and corruption within the party and how they only ever seem to act within their own vested interests. Matt Hancock's handling of this pandemic has been a disgrace. The issuing of contracts deserves an investigation, and it deserves some of those people, if found guilty of corruption and issuing dodgy contracts, to go to prison, because that is public money, and that is public money being misappropriated at a time of national emergency. It is a disgrace. I've got my issues with Labour. I don't like Labour. I don't think I'll ever vote Labour. But sometimes when I see this behaviour by the Tory party, it makes me think they're just as worse, if not worse, than the Labour Party. So I don't know who I'm going to vote for in the next general election. It's not going to be Labour. It's certainly not going to be Tory. I'll probably just vote SDP again. Even though they're only going to get 423 votes, at least they've got some political integrity. Anton, who are you going to vote for in the general election?
I'll still vote for Labour.
Right, good. Good to see that we've learned our lessons, mate. Right, have we got any super chattios before we finish?
No, but we've had a PayPal from
Excellent.
our favourite Thomas Hoffer.
Thomas Hoffer with the PayPals. Yeah?
He hasn't said anything.
All right.
He just sent us 20 chuffs.
He's just sent us 20 chuffs. Thomas Hoffer, thank you so much. Guys, we are going to go on our break. Thank you so much for watching the show. Thank you so much for sending in super chats. Thank you so much for contributing. We are going to take a week's break, but don't worry. We are going to have remarkable and brilliant episodes coming out. We've got David Nutt, he was working for the government with drug policy. He ended up getting fired because he pointed out a statistical fact that it's more dangerous to go horse riding than it is to take ecstasy. We've got David Nutt. We've got a Trigonometry Destroys Trigonometry, where Konstantin and I sit down and we talk about the absolute chaos and nonsense that has preceded us. We had an interview with Chris Shelton, which is wonderful, who is a former Scientologist. We talked about the nature of cults. We've got some brilliant interviews coming up. We've got some great ones in the can. We've also got the Patrick Moore interview, former head of Greenpeace. That is incredible. And we're also going to be releasing over the week some nice juicy segments from our Jordan Peterson interview. So if it was a 2-hour interview with Jordan was too much, and I understand why it is, I've got ADHD too. We're going to release some lovely segments for you to enjoy over the week. We're going to see you, not next week, but the week afterwards. Have an amazing 10 days, guys. Enjoy the interviews, and we'll see you soon. Have fun. Enjoy the sunshine.